Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Suchi boy.
Yeah.
Those Green Bays looked pretty good in the snow last night, didn't they?
They really did.
That's
A
the
fun
best-
snow game.
That's the best I've seen them in a long time.
How did the Vikings beat them?
They weren't playing that good, and they were a little more banged up.
I think they
months
looked
ago.
past the Vikings a little bit too that week.
But they've gotten healthier while everybody else has gotten less healthy. And boy, Aaron Rodgers and that Devontae have got. You know what they got, Joe? You know what we used to call that? Chemistry. That's right. I think we use other words now, but back then they had chemistry. Man.
I have really grown to enjoy watching good quarterbacks.
Yes, because bad ones make you puke. But yeah, that's but,
Kansas City, they toy with people.
Yes.
And then they decide, oh, Christ, it's time to win this thing. Let's
better
go.
win it.
Press
Yeah,
a
they
little
were
bit.
not good yesterday. I think they were bored as could be, and
Yep.
and they, and then that poor kicker from Atlanta,
Oh.
who's the Pro Bowl kicker.
Yeah.
Do you see that kick? How did it go?
it took
Looked
him right.
Looked
He
like
sliced it.
It looked like a screwball.
Yes.
It looked like Bill Campbell throwing a
Yeah.
change-up screwball.
They should have taken the advice you were trying to give Dan Bailey during the Tampa
hit
game.
it over there to the left trees. I said, as a slicer, hit it to the left tree line, and it'll come right back. That's what he should have done. That's
right.
Aim for the left tree line.
Well, he shanked that one yesterday,
Yeah.
the Atlanta guy.
He's now cured himself, though. He's gone from the worst of their problems to the least of their problems in a real hurry. But the Packers look really good, I think. I like them a lot. I think they can go to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure they can win it, but I think they can.
What's
going to
help him is playing in Green Bay.
They got to beat the Bears.
How about Rodgers versus Mahomes? I wouldn't mind that.
That'd be fun. The
That'd be fun.
crafty vet and the kid we've never seen one like him before. It would be. But Rodgers just looks so, for want of a better word, comfortable with what he's doing now. I think he's gotten hit less than anybody in the league, right? There's nobody's really put any pressure on him. And the Vikings might have gotten to him a couple that want him, and a couple that got to him a couple of times, but.
Meanwhile, our guy's spinning circles, going, "Who's going to hit me? Who's going
Let me say something else that's terribly obvious, but it's finally sinking into me. I'm enthralled by all of the signals you hear, whether it's on the defensive end or because every word, every utterance means something.
Yes.
Blue Division 3. That means some guy sees something.
5-0,
5-0, and then he changes. Go Omaha. And every one of those things means something.
Well, it has been kind of great.
Yes,
to not
you can
have
hear
fans
everything.
and noise and music. You get to hear stuff.
I forget what game I was watching. I think it was the Bears game because there was a penalty called, and I forget who the announcer was, the color commentator, because it was Greg Gumbel. Oh, it was Rich Gannon, and he said that his theory is there's more personal foul calls because the hits sound so much louder without fans at the game, which made a little sense.
Have there been?
Yes,
more
and
personal
because
fouls?
I looked it up, and there have been more personal fouls called
That
this year.
probably that could be there's stuff going on out there. I'm surprised that more coaches haven't gotten 15-yarders for calling the referees
because
filthy
Nagy
games.
went nuts on the sideline when they didn't call it initially.
Well, McVay got a 15-yarder
That's right,
for running out onto the field like P.J. Fleck.
Where is the fanless Super Bowl this year? Miami?
Tampa.
And they're going to let some people in, I would imagine. Florida, my scouting report from Florida is there's not a great deal of masking taking place, or that people aren't that worried about it. So I guess it's because you got that younger age group down there.
just refuses.
Like 82.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Those 79-year-olds. Rebels.
Not Amber Alert.
Silver.
Silver Alert's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Nobody ever has a Silver Alert in a 2019 Toyota, man.
No, 1997 Buick four-door
Skylark.
sedan. Yeah.
Yes, right. Buick Skylark. Yeah. When Dad's got the Alzheimer's, ladies and gentlemen, sell the car.
You're ready to inherit a 1999.
Sell it, and don't sell it to anyone in the neighborhood, because if he sees it, he'll be jumping in there and taking off. Sell it if you live in Fort Myers, selling it to somebody in Pompano Beach or something.
Yep.
Don't let Dad get near it, because he's climbing in and taking off, man.
You know why? Because he's kept a key to himself.
And the good, he's the guy going 40. Why the young youth down there are going 95 on the freeways down there. It's always interesting on 75 to see the difference in velocity.
And there's a Kleenex box on the back shelf and a hat.
Yep. And when you sell it, you can say, never seen the sun. It's not sun warped, and only drove it to church and to golf.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie, what'd you buy?
Oh, I got to tell you, this is
Oh boy.
If by the way, if I ever get in a situation to sell the wife's Volvo,
Yeah.
they won't believe it. 2011,
Yep.
I don't think we hit 30 grand yet.
Well, you got to talk to me. I think I want right of first refusal.
No, I think I'm already going to run over there and
I
get Gabe's
use
new
it.
car.
I've been using it this week because it's much better in the snow. You know, it's a snow plow, so it's.
Right.
Is it a station wagon?
No, it's just a Volvo sedan. But it's not a dent, not a mark, not anything on it. And I had to get new tires just because they'd sat there so long. You know, the guy said, you know, we could, because one of them was going flat. One of them was going flat. He said, I'll give you a deal. You should put new tires on this at 27,000 miles. But, what the hell.
Well,
anyway, what were you going to say?
I made a purchase the other day, and making this purchase gives you a really sense of, insecurity.
Is this a long story?
No, it's not, but it's pretty good. My old man had called me. He texted me, and I'll run an errand or two for him, and that's never a problem.
I love
to
the
do it
stories
for
of
him.
you taking your dad on errands.
Okay, well, I didn't take him on this errand, but he asked me. He said, I'm watching Jeremiah Johnson with Robert Redford. Tomorrow, could you pick up some ointment for me? Jim's car is down. Jim is his buddy.
Now, these are
texts.
These are different thoughts. because Jim otherwise would go get him the ointment.
Jim was going to go give him the...
Is this the ointment for the bad leg?
No, this is the ointment for eyes. He needs some Muro 128 or something like that. So he did call it ointment, too. So that's Winona 1950 right off the bat. Yeah. I said, I'll do it today, later this afternoon, let you know then, no problem. Thank you. 2 minutes later. Pick me up a plunger, too, if you can.
You might want that a little sooner.
I said,
might not wait till tomorrow for a plunger.
I said, no problem, I can do that. And then I went into Walgreens to get this Muro ointment stuff, and I got it, and then I went over to the plunger section, and I felt like the entire Walgreens store is watching me grab a plunger, and I walked up to the cashier, and people are looking at me going, how bad is it that whatever current plunger you have worn that sucker out to a nub that you need to go buy a brand new plunger. I felt shame and disgust that felt like everybody was looking at me buying a plunger. And I put the thing up there, and the lady looks at the plunger, and
you can go to Home Depot and get a plunger. They won't look at you.
They won't look at you.
You can get one at Fratelloni's.
Fratelloni's.
I felt like I was judged, though.
Yeah.
God.
You were being judged.
By every single walking into the parking lot, people look, that dude needs a plunger. Look at what he did to the pipes.
You know what they're telling themselves? She's had the Christmas failure.
Then I walk up to him and he says, you need it for the kitchen sink. I said, okay.
Okay, that's
He kind of
good.
made me He kind of
So
grossed
does
me out.
any of your family members listen to the show?
Yes, my
The
mother
one-
does religiously.
Oh, well, then I'm not
Maria
gonna ask.
does. Teresa occasionally.
I'm not going to ask them.
Yes, do it. Do it.
No.
Do it.
When did you realize Dad was a little dingy?
I must have been 7. I think I came around the corner and he was playing with the jacks. He's always been really outgoing and he's always been goofy.
Yeah.
So I took him to the.
It's fun to have a goofy father. but
It's wonderful, and now he is unbelievable because he's got a walker. I took him to the ear doctor the other day. We went to the ear doctor, and I will say this: leaving the ear doctor, I'm going to fast forward, but leaving the ear doctor, I hit the handicap door button so the door would open up.
So swing
and
open, yeah.
He's in front of me with the walker, but the door wasn't opening fast enough, and he was just with the walker. He is forcing the. He's just like a robot going through a brick wall. But at the ear doctor, we're sitting in the lobby. This was his question. He can't hear. So how long do you think Joe and Pat are going to be working on the show? And everybody looks at him, because he's like, hello, Mother Harper, Tim Conway on Cal Burnett Show. And then he strikes up a conversation with the poor gal that's trying to input. Well, how long you been doing this? Did you go to school? And his mask is falling all over. He's a wonderful human being. He's just, it's a train wreck sometimes. I should video this stuff because it's hilarious.
My father's hearing was okay, but his family members, his brothers,
Yeah.
3 of them, he had 3 brothers, and they couldn't really, they all had bad hearing, but they never spoke to each other. They just screamed.
Oh,
It was unbelievable. And they ran a furniture store downtown, and they go, "Hey, Carl, where's that?" And then it became the conversational tone,
Right.
And they were Uncle Fritz, and what the hell, Uncle Fritz,
Oh, he keeps me on my toes with the stuff he requests. So it's hilarious.
Historically, were undertakers in the furniture business?
Yes, all the time. Yeah, they built
Really?
boxes.
Yeah,
They were in the wood business. They made furniture in the 1860s. They made boxes, chairs
Right.
and stuff, and they had the wood. And so somebody died, they cranked out we didn't do a lot of the embalming back then, I don't think. We kind of pretty much threw them in there, maybe with a piece of fruit or something to keep maybe a lemon.
And then you're
Maybe-
What the hell would that have accomplished?
Maybe
That
a
accomplishes
maybe
nothing.
a lemon to get keep a little of the odor from
Little zest, little zest.
Yeah.
A
But
lemon.
I would think burying, like, you shot somebody in Tombstone. They did a lot of shooting in Tombstone, right?
Right.
Yeah. Tombstone summers, got to be 105, 110,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
You can't. And you're not embalming, but the president, there's not ice, there's no
right.
refrigeration. You probably had to bury him pretty quick.
Well, where do you think the 6 feet down came from?
Who's got the lemons? Where are the
I
lemons?
don't know
It's
why the
pretty hot
6 feet.
today.
I don't know what the 6
For
feet.
precisely what you just said, because they didn't have enough lemons, so they dug a
didn't-
deep hole.
Yeah, otherwise the coyotes could have gotten
That's
to him.
right.
Okay, that's right. You had to get him down there. Yeah.
Sir, would you like the lemon scent or would you prefer daffodils?
I don't know if they.
Fred was
I'm
a good
just trying
guy.
to think of something.
Would you like to add lemons to the menu? We got the pine box. You want the lemon treatment? Or?
Well, we're putting him in the box at 2. Can we get him buried by 4? Come on, we can't be messing around here.
It's warm today.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of your old man and your old ways, Gabe got 2 birds today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went hunting with his brother-in-law. I just got word that he...
In the car or out of the
I think
car?
they went to a game farm. I think they cheated. I think they
okay.
cheated.
Oh, I should tell what I told you earlier, speaking of Gabe. Gabe came up in our house over the weekend, Pat and Joe. My 9-year-old, I'm starting to think that he's in on the bit, but he doesn't want to give up the fact that he knows.
Oh,
Right.
I got 11
The
and 10.
enlightenment.
I should. Okay. How long do these kids think? Why do we let them get away with it when they're 10 years old?
Well, I love it. I got one that thinks the Star of Bethlehem's coming through her window.
How old is she?
4.
Oh well, she got 2 more years.
Well, and I think that's part of it because he is a really good kid. My younger one is a complete, you know what.
Yeah.
But I think he doesn't want to ruin it for his little brother.
No, he doesn't want to ruin it for him.
Well,
That's a
that's
take.
true.
That's a
too.
take,
Yeah.
man.
That's right. Yeah, I got 11 and 10, and they said, "So is Santa coming?" I said, "Oh yeah, Santa's
Blink, blink,
coming."
no,
Okay,
sign him on.
all right, good enough. Because I know when I was a kid, if you were in the 2nd grade and still believed in Santa, you got derided unmercifully, right?
I believed till I was about 15.
Until he got his Red Rider.
I mean,
Right.
I think when we were 6, we started saying, "Wait a minute now,
What's going on here?
I don't."
Joe saw the real Santa Claus.
It's a hard concept.
Pat?
You were talking about seeing a Santa in St. Paul.
Oh my God, Pat! It was eerie. It was so perfect. The guy was
Okay.
Santa Claus. It
Okay.
was just amazing. His costume had to cost $5 to $10 grand.
You're
The
kidding me.
beautiful red coat and the polished boots,
But I
and he
think
had the pink cheeks and the great beard, and it was
Was
just
he driving or what was
No,
he?
I think
walking
I
down
think-
Summit.
I think Rookie nailed it. I do.
Rookie thinks it was some guy who had a gig at some house there, and he was walking to it because, like Rook said, you can't drive up.
Yeah, you
Hey,
gotta-
here comes Santa in his
right.
Silverado.
Yeah, right. Nice tornado.
Either that or he was looking for booze like Thirsty Santa used to out in Prior Lake.
Thirsty Santa.
Oh my God.
I wasn't on radio this year to tell
it.
the
Yeah,
Thirsty
right.
Santa story.
This was a better outfit than Richards, which was crumbled up under the basement
Yes, might
steps.
still be in that house down there in a corner somewhere. That the house is still there, so it might be down rolled up in a moldy corner. And, let's get that out. I'll go get some free whiskey. Yeah.
Let me deliver a snowmobile here.
How I guess we didn't have a chance to talk about the Vikings effort on
boy.
Christmas. Boy,
Not
that
much
was
to say, is
boy,
there?
that was a way to ruin your Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
I
was.
would have paid a significant amount of money to be there to listen to Zim say, "This is the worst defense I've ever had."
Yes, right.
Oh,
Well,
that
because
would have been great.
because they jumped on him right away because they went back to his quote before the season. "I've never had a bad defense."
Okay.
And then the question was, "Would you call this a bad defense, Sam?" Because you got to.
Was it Thomason? Did Thomason ask the question?
He would have if somebody didn't beat him to it. I would imagine. Thomason is, Zim's. He's not getting a Christmas present from Zim. That's for sure. Could it be Zim's distracted this year?
Well, you've raised this before. He
Yes.
has reasons to be,
Direct
doesn't he?
companionship,
Yes, he has
possibly?
a reason to be. He could be distracted. He could. I mean, I'm sure he's involved in the game, but then there's comfort to be had.
There really is.
A couple times.
Now that you put it that way, it's a very
Yes.
gentle way to put it.
Right? Yes.
A couple of times I
You
just
know
saw
what,
him there
Pat?
staring in a
He
fog.
doesn't mind leaving the locker room to go home.
No, that's what you're saying.
And I don't think any of us can blame him.
You know
No,
the
I
guy
don't.
that who was the first Joe Gibbs. He was the first. He and Vermeil were the first sleep in the office guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah, had to stay. Couldn't go home because you might have an inspiration and want to look at some videotape. I got a hunch Zim's not sleeping at the office anymore.
Nope.
I think he's
Nope.
heading
In
out.
fact, I
Going home
think
for dinner.
Zim might have asked, the Wilfs, can I just Zoom the call of the game from my
Yes.
house? Can I just do
Yeah,
it?
if I was Zim, I wouldn't bother to show up Sunday. That's for sure. How about the Lions? Though?
Oh, God.
The Lions. It was like 47-7 after 10 minutes.
I
It
was running
unbelievable.
errands, so I was listening to it on the radio,
Yeah.
and I hadn't heard the first quarter, seen the first quarter, so I was in the car and I was driving around, and I heard the radio announcer go, and that makes it 41-0 before half. I went, what? What
It was.
happened?
I said. The thing about the Lions is, at this time of year, you can never tell if they quit or if they just stink. That's because it's always the same. It's one
Are
or
they
the
at
other.
Detroit Sunday?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, how can they figure out a way to not kill each other? Because it's a totally pointless game.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It will
How
be
do
the
they do that?
It'll be the same thing that what happened week 17 last year with the Bears and the Vikings, where they just didn't play anybody. Everybody basically said, "See you later, see you next year."
Joe.
We're bailing out.
We've said this before, but I thought of this again the other day. The Detroit Lions, in a sport that now will be sending 45, that has for years sent 40% of its teams to the playoffs, and now it's going to be damn near 50%. Since 1957, have won one playoff game.
Oh my God.
That's hard to believe. Isn't it?
1957.
Wow.
63 years. They won the championship in 57. They've won one playoff game since then. This is mathematically impossible.
It is. It really is.
It's they had Barry Sanders.
Yes.
And did they win their one with him?
Yes, because they beat the Cowboys before the Cowboys won in that run in the 90s.
And that was early 90s.
Yes.
So they haven't won one in 30 years, and they've won one in
because they lost in the
since
NFC
1957.
Championship game to Washington.
This is a time we should be hearing from those two fans who got kicked out of the game.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I wonder. He was
Detroit
Don.
Don.
Did Detroit didn't have fans in, did they?
No.
No, not that you'd be able to tell. That's right. I watched the game on Thanksgiving, and I said, it just doesn't seem like a Lions game. There's no booze.
Right. No bags over their head with the
none of that-
cutouts.
None of that good stuff. You won't be able to find that guy, will you? That guy-
I'm going to keep searching, though, because that video is great. Oh, my God, he's got a Facebook fan page.
Oh, okay.
Detroit Dan does?
Give me a
That's what happened to this guy and this guy.
He was at least 20 beers in, too, by the way. Here we go.
Game.
Describe some of that
100.
chaos. You got anything that particularly sticks to your mind?
That's hang on. I'm playing the GL episode from earlier. Give me just a minute here.
Okay.
Here is Detroit. Big Cat is what they call him here. Hang tight.
Just got ejected from game 124 or 5 in a row for standing and cheering at the end of the third quarter while we're on defense. That's what just happened. That's what just happened at Ford Field to this guy and to this guy. Ejected for standing up and freaking cheering on defense. What the hell? I don't know if I can come back to this dump that you call Ford Field. Ain't been ejected, ain't had an incident in 120 some odd games with it under my skin.
Really?
140, row 5, seat 5. Super fan of Detroit Don. And this is how I get taken care of?
Super fan.
While we're 0-5?
10 more seconds.
In a division
We're in the middle of a divisional game
Yeah.
against the Chicago Bears? And I get thrown out for standing and cheering on defense. You piece of shit.
Oh, well, get rid of that. I forgot about that.
That's
Mark.
okay.
I
That's
forgot
passion.
about that.
That's like Arnie when Arnie
It's
calls
podcast.
it.
But when
You're
he's
a
all
bunch of-
angry, what you don't realize is he has the Detroit Lions sunglasses with the logo on each of the lens, and he's also got the big Detroit Lion hat on over the top, which adds to the
With the shoulder
with the
pads.
shoulder pads on, of course, as well.
One of my favorite examples of that is way back when I went to an Oklahoma-Nebraska game, and Nebraska was rated number 1 in the country. And Oklahoma, Barry Switzer was still there, and he might have had a Selman or two then. And Oklahoma came and kicked their ass. Didn't let them do anything offensively and beat them bad. And I was going down, and this is when you could get into the locker rooms. And there was this guy that was like security at the locker room. And he had a red Nebraska hat on, red shoes, red pants, kind of a shirt that was checked, and a red tie, and he was like holding us back, He kept talking about, boy, they sure didn't look good today. They didn't look good today. And I said, they, buddy,
You're an extension.
Look at yourself, buddy. You're all of a sudden you don't want anything to do with
No,
them.
not
You're
my
writing them
team.
off. They're not my team. They stunk.
He said,
down
I'm a
there.
different shade of red.
Were you down there only for the Rozier game, or were you down there other times, Joe?
Well, for sure the Rozier game, and I think I was there a couple times. To tell you the truth.
Oh, it was unbelievable
Yeah,
back then.
yeah.
Man, they were, and now they stink. I bet they're having a hard time with it, man.
Why were you? What was the significance of covering that game?
Well,
Rozier was
played
a
them
big
few
deal, right?
times, and
Okay.
Joe might have been there to do just something on Nebraska being great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the time where I met Rozier in the foyer of a building where there's a glass wall behind me and a glass wall in front of me and two sets of doors. And I said, Mike, we got to chat. And he said, yeah, just give me a minute. He walks out the door, gets in his car, drives around, comes in the other door. He had to show me his car.
But did you big curb feelers on a rib?
Oh, yeah, curb feelers
on a
it.
rib, right? Wasn't it a rib?
Yeah, yeah.
You told
Buick
me it was
Riviera. Yeah.
Well, luckily he grew up with wealthy parents someplace, I'm sure, and they
Oh,
could
I'm sure.
Yeah.
buy in the rib. That was the collection that edged our boys 84-13.
Oh.
Yeah.
And with great mercy, I might add.
Well, they had guys like me in. They're the sixth string guys in that.
That was the
game.
game that proved to me time of possession isn't all it's cracked up to be. We had the ball for 38
Well,
minutes.
I remember when we had Pete in studio, and
Yeah.
Pete had 48 tackles or
Yes,
whatever
he
it was
did.
because
Most
they
of
were on
them-
the field the whole time.
Most of them 14 yards down the field. But,
He said, I had a great game, but unfortunately, all my tackles were going the other way.
might be my favorite lead I've ever written was when I went back down there. Who was coaching that? I can't remember. It might have been Wacky. Maybe and it was 42-0 late in the first half. And Nebraska got the ball inside the 20, and they knelt down 3 times to run out the clock rather than score again. Down in the, they were down there, and I wrote about the Gophers' valiant goal line stand
In the red zone.
before the end of the first half. You're not getting through us again. Some Goph fans didn't take that one too well. So
The Gopher basketballers play tonight.
yeah, they play again tonight.
God,
It
how
was a
about
nice
that
win.
win? Wow.
Nice win over Iowa. They're down 7 with 35 seconds to go. How can you let Marcus Carr shoot that shot?
I don't know.
How can you not foul him and
don't
make him
know.
shoot 2 free throws?
I did like seeing the images of because Fran gets a little worked
Fran
up
gets a
for
little worked
Iowa.
up, yes.
And that's always fun.
I love Fran.
Oh.
Fran's nuts.
Yes.
But Gophers, I mean, you know what? It's modern basketball. If you make threes, you can look pretty good. Because when they played at Illinois, those 2 guards went, Carr was 3 for 12, and the other guy was 0 for 9 or something shooting threes.
I forget who said it, but if it was 40 or somebody nationally said that he thinks that the Big Ten might send, if there's a tournament, might send 8 teams to the tournament this year.
Oh, yeah. at
That's
least.
how good
Yeah,
the Big Ten
yeah,
is
Big
this year.
Ten's good, but supposedly. But they go to Wisconsin after this one, right?
Yes.
And Wisconsin's way better than they. I saw Wisconsin last year in Sioux Falls. Start of the season. Went down there with Curry and the boys. Drove down to watch the game, and they were terrible. Then they ended up winning like their last 6 before the pandemic came last year, and now they're pretty good. So I don't know, but it's hard to get into it though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's the sport I think the most, college basketball, that needs fans, because that was such a big part of some of those great games. I mean, could you imagine the barn on Christmas
Oh,
night?
they would
That
have been on
been-
the. They would have been on the court,
Oh,
baby.
it
They
would
would
have
have been
been
on the
great.
court for that one.
I bet even tonight. I bet tonight they
on
would have
that puke white court.
had. Yeah.
I don't like that what
I
they
don't
did to that
like-
floor.
I have a hard time watching it on TV. These old eyes don't like the glare,
Yeah,
man.
that's
I
not.
don't either.
So, but so far I'm shut out on the Timberwolves TV and the YouTube. Even last night, it was on NBA, but it's blacked out here because
FSN's the carrier.
FSN carried it. FSN, if FSN's carrying it, then you don't get it on ESPN. Now I didn't miss much last night, but the boys were. Cat, I said on Twitter, they win their first 2. Nice win at Utah, and Karl Anthony Towns looks involved and fired up, Joe, and then he basically dislocates his wrist by game 3. As I said, wolf's fever, you don't need any medication. It always goes away within 24 hours.
You don't need a vaccine.
Well, how
No
bad is this
vaccine.
injury? How bad is this?
Well, he broke it
You know
last
how
year.
everybody's day to day?
Yep.
He's week to week, they say. 2 months, maybe 6 weeks. Maybe.
Oh, no.
Because it's the same wrist he broke last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he was telling us how he was a new man. What do you think of the hockey schedule? I kind of like it. If
I think
you're going to do something
I don't like it.
to back.
Oh, they 4 times they play back-to-backs.
Yeah, but also every series is a 2-game series,
Right.
no matter where you are.
Okay, all right.
You know, so
So if they play the Kings, they'll play him twice.
Play them twice, and then
Okay.
they can. But some days it's back to back, and other days it's you play Tuesday and Thursday, and Wednesday you're off Wednesday. But they're always in the same location, so it's intended. But I would think some Wild fans will be jumping on that Sun Country flight to Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're letting people in the arena trying to get tickets. I don't know how many they're letting in to be out there for Vegas and see if they can pick up the COVID.
Shouldn't we have this vaccine a little under
Yes,
control?
Why aren't we distributing it?
You did this on purpose, Joe.
We
I did.
spend all our time.
I knew this would rile
We
them
spend
up.
all our time trying to figure out who gets it first. How about giving it out?
Let's go.
You know what good does it do sitting in a corner in a
Potentially warming
125
Right.
below zero? Who's getting it? Your wife's in the business and hasn't got inoculated yet.
Well, part of that is because she had a few days off, but she has to schedule. She
Well,
also
are
wants.
we done with the medical workers yet so we
No.
can get on with life? Well, what are we doing?
Well, again, some people took time off, but also I don't know how every hospital is doing it. But I know she said, "Well, I want the other older nurses and staff to get it before she does."
We were going to have 20 million people inoculated by the end of the year, which is going to be about
That ain't happening.
It's going to be about 100,000 the way it's going. What the hell? The news media was so excited when they had the tapes of the first inoculations and stuff,
Right.
and we haven't heard anything since.
No, the one gal's had a reaction to it. The first gal over in Great Britain.
She got a little dizzy. Yeah.
No,
willing
that's
to risk
okay.
it. Willing to risk it.
Willing to risk
Willing
it.
to risk it.
I'd risk it. I'm gonna get it if they
Let's
ever get
go.
around
Come
to me.
on, let's go. I'll take all 3. There's 3 of them out there, right? The third one hasn't been approved yet, though. The one from Brazil.
Let's take a chance.
The one from Brazil or whatever it is. That one from Brazil.
Yeah, that one I don't know what the status is, but Moderna
Might be
and
made out
Pfizer-
of tsetse flies. I don't know
Yeah,
what the
you
hell
wanna
is
be
going
careful on that one,
Yes,
for sure.
It might have
Pfizer,
malaria in
Moderna.
it or something. But we're supposed to have these. You hear about Canada having hundreds of thousands of them. What are we waiting for? Let's go. Europe, they're inoculating everybody in Europe.
Everybody.
We're sitting here just
And in
holding
Minnesota,
our
we're training. We're
holding
training.
our privates.
Pat, I'm bringing this up just for you, but our guy Tom Pelissero has just reported that the Washington football team has released cornerback
Yes, they did that.
Dwayne
Yeah,
Haskins.
they did that before noon today.
Wow.
Joe, I want to tell you about my influence in the sports world.
All right.
Okay.
By the way, Joe, for just for you and some of the listeners that might not know the background, he's the guy that was caught at the strip club without
Strip
the
club.
mask on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like it, the script club.
And where is it? This was 6 hours ago. What
right.
time would that make it?
That would make it
8 in the morning,
8,
right?
8 a.m. Yep.
8 a.m. The WFTs, that's the Washington football team, can either sync with that stiff Dwayne Haskins or go to a QB it also employs who comes with the full guarantee of the Vikings faithful, Taylor Heineke. 4 hours later, boom, they do it. Daniel Snyder obviously reading my tweets.
Well, yeah,
say
he
yes.
follows you on Twitter. I'm
Heineke
sure.
played a little Sunday, right, after they got sick of watching
He
Haskins.
sure did.
We love him, man. He was a monster in those exhibition games. You know when he was first here? 2014.
Oh my God.
2014.
Now, did he
15.
predate Kyle Sloter? Because we loved Kyle
We
Sloter
did.
too.
Where is Kyle?
He was with somebody's practice squad, I think.
I don't get the strip club attraction when you got that many options.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. The guy in Atlanta said
Puzzles
it
me.
was the guy in Atlanta said it, the basketball player who was
Lou Williams.
He wanted the wings.
said
He
it was
wanted
the
the chicken
wings.
wings.
The wings.
Can't blame him.
And somebody from the Athletic down there went and did a column on how good the wings were. I like
that's
that.
brilliant.
I thought that was great, man. That was.
Yeah, I
that was
nominate-
fa-
the guy
he
said, "I nominate
he's-
myself."
He says, you know what? The wings are pretty good. I can see that.
I can relate to what Lou was
Yes.
saying. Yes.
I don't think these are the. And I have not been a regular, maybe 5 times in my entire life, right? And different places. I don't think they're going.
And it was all last week.
I don't think any of these are like the old ones. So these are the ones that the fellas are going to are a little higher buck, I think.
Yeah, higher end. There might be some, I don't know, some unnatural.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
like the ones that Kenny always describes on his snowmobile trips in northern Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Those are my favorite stories.
Well, welcome to the stage.
I
Bunch of
think
Yetis.
The first one I ever went to, and I don't know why, was on the Saddle Bar on Hennepin Avenue.
Oh, boy.
I felt like I was looking in a mirror. It was not pretty, but the whiskey was there. The gin and tonics were cheap. So
The
what the
Saddle Bar, that's what it was called?
Saddle Bar
Oh,
downtown.
man.
It must be where. What was it? What would be there? Maybe, boy, this is a long time
Block
ago.
E, like the Block E
70s.
area?
Yeah, but on the other side of the street.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe where the Brazilian steakhouse is now or something.
That's where the descriptions, though, get a little more bizarre when you're rural. We welcome back to the stage. She's just fresh out of back surgery and in her first year of retirement. Here is Dolores. Hey, D, how you doing?
She's over there shaking off snow from her coat and taking the snowshoes off.
God, the last one I was in, Bernsey was still the coach, Mettlers.
Oh,
I
down
went
in
to
Mankato, yeah.
Mettlers when I was down there to see Mankato without having the Vikings, but they weren't dancing yet. It was like 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I wanted to see how they thought business would be without Vikings training camp. But Bernsey was still the coach, and we were in there. I was sober then, so I must have been buying drinks for somebody. But there were 2 or 3 of us in there, and there was a bunch of players in there, and they had to be back by 11, right? They had to be. So they 10 to 11, they all leave. 11:05, Coach Bernsey comes in the back door, and we said, send that man a beer.
Hey, Big Nuts.
Hey, how you doing?
I just came down for a beer. Okay,
How about you bleepers right home? Hey, what do you live around here?
My buddy Ross, who I went to high school with, and then we were roommates in Mankato, he bounced at that establishment
Okay.
for about 3 years, and boy, does he have some stories.
Well, the Viking, when the 6 guys would make their annual trip from the Twin Cities or Mountain Lake or someplace to Viking camp, and then get totally hammered and end up Mettlers, there had to be some difficulties.
Shenanigans?
Had to be some difficulties.
yeah, he's seen some people that we would all recognize in that establishment. That's for sure.
Well, there were some athletes there that you wouldn't expect, But
They were there for the wings. They were
I
there
went
for the
there,
wings.
In
Was
fact,
it there when I cut? Was it there in 78 and 9?
Oh yeah, Mettlers
yeah.
been there forever. Yeah.
How many times you go, Joe?
Right,
I never went.
It's right next to the new arena downtown now, and
Is it still functioning?
it was still.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it still was functioning.
You want me to call
when I
him
went.
really quick?
No, I don't.
Check in, see
Well,
if they're
they're
open.
closed. They're shut down now.
Oh, that's true.
I
Yeah,
don't
we got
think
the
we're.
secret
I
knock.
think Governor Walz has not given a.
In fact,
Even though it is kind of a workout place, I don't
gym.
think
fitness
Oh,
facility.
Gym,
Yeah.
I don't think he's letting people in the strip clubs.
In fact, Patrick, that was the last stop we made before our pilgrimage to go watch 41 Donut, because Ross was one of the guys that went with us,
okay.
and we had to wait till his shift was over at 2 a.m. on whatever Saturday morning before
To
we
drive it?
Yeah, and
Oh,
then we hit
God
the road.
almighty. I wish I was with that crew. Wow. Unbelievable.
Where was the game?
Giant
Giant Stadium.
41
You
Donut.
drove from
41 Donut.
Mankato to New York?
In my 1987 Pontiac Bonneville.
Leaving
Oh, my
early in the
God.
morning. Leaving early on Saturday morning.
Yep.
Wow.
We we went through Chicago, then I forget how well the rest of the route, because I was the first half driver.
You know, an interesting transition, Joe, has been made with strip clubs as far as description. Mm-hmm. Forever they were strip clubs, but then that demeaned
the employees,
the workers.
Yes.
So then it became gentlemen's clubs.
That's
right.
Yep.
But now you can't use gentlemen's club because it's giving too much
masculinity.
Yes. Too much credence to the customers who should be ashamed of themselves. So now it's back to being a strip club.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it, the strip club.
Although James Harden says he wasn't at a strip club, he was at the just a party for a female friend of his.
That happened to be dancing with her top off.
With 150 other people crowded together. What a beauty he is. Did you see anyone play the other night?
No.
He's put on 15, man. He's just a chump.
Oh, I saw your tweet.
Waddling around out there. He got 41 with 17 assists and he played 43 minutes. He's an unbelievable athlete, but he's going to pull a muscle or something because he's at least 15 heavy.
Was this
I did go to the strip club,
yeah.
Which I shouldn't have been in, which I haven't been in since then.
See?
I like it, a strip club.
I can't find the other one.
That must have been chopped out. But that was good. Was that Pac-Man Jones?
Yeah, that was
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. I think it was Pac-Man.
I like it, a script club. SCRIPP.
Script. Like in a script club.
I like it, a script club.
I haven't been in one since.
Matt Burke, greatest quote ever. What's wrong with our strippers? Why do we have
For the Love Boat?
Yeah, the Love Boat. He said, why do we have to fly them in why do we have to fly in the girls from Atlanta?
Who was the guy that said...
Didn't he say, what's wrong with our dancers?
Which player was it that said, I was just shooting dice? Was that Milwaukee?
Robert Smith was the one that said, wasn't it
Robert was way gone by then. That was 05.
No.
I think it was Milwaukee
right.
Moore, wasn't it? Milwaukee Moore?
Yeah.
He's like, I was just shooting dice.
No, he said, strippers? No.
Shooting dice.
Deny everything.
Weldy, not Robert. Yeah, what the hell am I thinking of? Robert, yeah, Weldy. What?
I would have loved to see Tice's reaction when he caught wind of that story. Just shaking his head.
His first reaction was, before he found out how bad it was how come I wasn't invited?
Yeah, you call me, guys.
I got to go to the bank.
All righty. Did you get a little cash for a Christmas present from the? What Christmas cost you?
Well, Pat, that's why I'm going to the bank.
All right. Make sure they're covered. Okay. All right. See you later.
All right.
Speaking of money.
Yes. How about our guy, Mr. Money Talk?
Josh Arnold. If you ever need him, it's now, because volatility, baby. Volatility. Here's Josh. I've got a buddy, Bob, who has 3 New Year's resolutions every year, and truth be told, he rarely succeeds at accomplishing his goals. He's not alone, by the way. Only 10% of us do accomplish our New Year's resolution. Then it hit me. Bob should call the Canopy Group. Why? Bob wants to read more, and I'm not going to be able to read to him. Bob wants to lose 20 pounds, and I'm sure not the guy to help him with that. But I can help him with his 3rd resolution, and that is to save money. How's he going to do that? By handing this resolution over to the 30 professionals at the Canopy Group. They will help Bob save money on his home and auto insurance and have better coverage at the same time. There's 16 companies assure Bob's success, not only just this year, but they will do this for Bob every year to be sure he has the best coverage at the best price. New clients save more than $800 annually. Hand your New Year's resolution over to the Canopy Group and be part of the 10% with good old Bob, who succeed in accomplishing at least one of their New Year's resolutions. Call 800-967-3389 or visit thecanopygroup.com. All you Bobs out there, get with it. 800-967-3389 or visit thecanopygroup.com.
His name is Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold's on the line with us once again here in Garage Logic. You should call him today for that free 48-minute financial analysis at 952-925-5608. Josh will always give you straight talk. He's never going to give you sugar-coated advice. He's been doing this a long time with that focused approach. Josh, we are heading into the holiday season, smack dab in the middle of that holiday season, by the way, and going into the new year. What should people expect when they give you a call for that 48-minute financial analysis?
As we said, straight talk, not sugar-coated advice. I am, and along with my number 2 son, Judd, we are in the business as investment advisors, trying very hard to increase your wealth and provide you the kind of financial independence that most people only dream about. We have no guarantee that we'll be able to accomplish that because investing does involve risk. Stocks go up as well as they go down. Some of our trading decisions might not work out the way we thought they did or should. Overall, we have done significantly better than the averages over the last 5 years, last 3 years, and particularly over the last year as we have talked. The proprietary portfolio year-to-date net of fees is up 67.4%. This is not, an index fund by any stretch of the imagination. We run very concentrated and focused portfolios. They have worked extremely well this year. We have been blessed, but not every individual trade has worked out. We are very much different than people who just index, as again, we pick individual companies, particularly within the internet, leisure-related businesses, China-related businesses, real assets, and we do short-term trading. We do put together a portfolio that does include cash because I do expect volatility throughout the year. Indeed, in 2021, I do expect several significant pullbacks, somewhere between 5 to 10% or maybe a little bit more due to profit-taking, concerns about the virus, concerns about the direction of interest rates, although we think interest rates are going to be low, maybe concerns about trade. This past year, big concerns entering the year were Trump's tweets on trade and tariffs. I am not a big believer in tariffs, and also the upcoming election. Well, we did not anticipate the severity of the virus. We did take advantage of that significant pullback, worked on a few themes which I think will serve well into 2021, that being the Be Home theme, the de-urbanization theme. Be Home benefits companies such as Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, 3 small examples. And the Be Home theme, de-urbanization theme, favors people moving out of the cities and would favor companies that are related to home building. We and I are not big investors in financials, industrial, commodity-based companies, which would include energy and materials. We want companies that are going to do well before the vaccine and even after the vaccine. Focus. It has worked well, and I believe it'll continue to work well.
And that's the kind of focused approach that you're going to get every time that you visit with Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Give him a call today, like I've been telling you for weeks now, for that free 48-minute financial consultation. Do it right now. 952-925-5608. Make one of your New Year's resolutions to get your financial meetings in order, and nobody better to do it than our guy, Josh Arnold. 952-925-5608. Straight talk, never sugar-coated advice. Josh, thank you so much for all of your help, and happy holidays to you. We'll talk to you again next week.
Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it.
Investment advisor services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a registered advisor in the state of Minnesota. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk.